Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my game preview for Sunday Night Football. This week's Sunday Night Football game is Packers versus Titans. The 11-3 Packers are taking on the 10-4 Titans, and this will be a coming-of-age game for one of these two teams. Both of these teams have had very interesting seasons this year. The Titans have had some good wins against strong teams, but they also had some losses against some very interesting teams. And the Packers, on the other side of the football, have had some very strong wins against bad teams, but haven't played any good teams for a very long time. And when they haven't done very well. So this game will be an interesting game to see where these teams stand going into the playoffs. And I will be live streaming this later, starting my live stream around 8:10. The game starts at 8:20. And so what I'm going to be doing right in this video is I'm going to be going over some of the statistical analysis of the two teams and some of the keys of the game for each of them and how each of these teams can win this game. And I'll finish it off with a final score prediction. So I'm going to start this video off by doing a quick statistical analysis looking at some of the offensive and defensive comparisons of these two teams. So both the Packers and the Titans are having good seasons. The Packers are 11-3, the Titans are 10-4. The Packers are 1-2 against teams with a winning record, and the Titans are 3-3. So the Titans have played 6 games versus the Packers 3, and they have a slightly better record. On offense, the Titans have 400 yards per game, which is number 2 in the league. They have 31 points per game, which is number 1 in the league, and they have 9 giveaways, which is number 1 in the league. On the Packers side of football, the Packers offense, they have 390 yards per game, which is number 4 in the league. They have 31 points per game, which is just slightly behind Kansas City and Tennessee, tied at 31.1. And they also have 9 giveaways. So both of these offenses are very good. They're almost identical offenses in the way that they function. They both keep the ball very well. They both get a lot of yards, and they both rack up points in almost every single game. And it shows in their statistics based off of even in games against hard teams, they've both had some good showings against teams with a winning record and things of the such. If you go to defenses, though, they have very opposite defenses. The Titans give up a lot of yards and then take away the football to stop the opponent from scoring, whereas the Packers don't give up yards but never get any takeaways. The Titans are number 26 in the league for yards per game, versus the Packers being number 7. But the Titans are number 4 in the league for takeaways, and the Packers are number 29. But that averages out to about 24 or 25 points a game for both teams. The Packers are just 0.8 below 25, and the Titans are just 0.8 above 25. And so the Titans' bend and don't break defense has been working for them this season, versus the Packers' defense of just don't let them get down the field. One interesting thing, though, is the fact that the Packers don't turn the ball over as much as other teams do. And the turnover game is going to be a very big factor in this one, as I'll go over later. But if the Titans can't get those takeaways and the Packers keep getting down the field, then they'll be running up the score and it'll be hard for Tennessee to keep up. Tennessee is 6-1 in similar games, with their only loss being to the Colts. They have beaten the Vikings, they beat the Texans, they beat the Jaguars twice, they beat the Colts once, and they beat the Bears and Lions. On the other hand, the Packers have lost to the Colts and the Vikings, and they have 5 wins in other similar games. So since these two divisions are playing each other, they have 7 games in common, and then they each have 1 divisional game left this season. The Titans are 6-1, the Packers are 5-2 right now. Keys to the game. So I know different people will have different ideas of what the keys to the game are, but for me, it's going to be the running game. Derrick Henry needs to get going early. Right now, he has 87 yards per game and 2 touchdowns in their losses. And he has 133 yards per game and 13 touchdowns in their wins. So 13 touchdowns and 10 wins versus 2 touchdowns and 4 losses. And 87 and a difference of nearly 50 yards per game between their wins and losses for Derrick Henry is a major deal. I think 4 of his 5 lowest games for carries per game are in their losses. And if they can get him going early, then the Titans have a good chance of winning this game. But if he doesn't get going early and the Titans need to play catch up, then they won't be able to. They need to manage their games, and that's the fact of the matter. Their average score at halftime is 23-9. They're averaging being down by 2 scores at halftime. They were down 38-7 to the Browns at halftime. They ended up making it a 1-score game, but if you're down 38-7, there's not much you can do there, even if you do make it a 1-score game. As in the Steelers game, they were down 28. They were down 24-7. They ended up making it 27-24, but you can't really do much if you're down by 17 points at halftime, especially against the Packers offense. And lastly, Gostkowski needs to make field goals, or they just need to not kick them. Gostkowski is 1 of 4 in field goals in their losses. They haven't been game-changing field goals in any of the games except for the Steelers game, which they lost by 3 points. But being 1 of 4 in field goals, if you need a game-winning field goal, Gostkowski's not your guy this season. Looking at the Packers offense, Aaron Jones, just like Derrick Henry, is going to be another major factor in this game. The Packers' rushing offense is not as prominent as the Titans. Aaron Jones is not nearly as fascinating as Derrick Henry is this season, but he does play a major role in this offense. In their 3 losses, he only played in 2 of them, and one of them, they were just missing him. He wasn't even on the field. In the first 2 losses, he carried 20 times, which is an average of 10 carries per game, which were his 2 lowest carried games of the season. He averaged 2.8 yards per carry for a total of 56 yards over the course of those 2 games. And he had 7 catches for just 56 yards as well, bringing him to a grand total of 112 yards in those 3 games. Aaron Jones has 1,400 yards this season. So the fact that he only has 112 yards in their 3 losses is a big deal. If the Titans can keep Aaron Jones contained, or if the Packers can keep Derrick Henry contained, then that will be a major, major benefit to their team. And the Packers also need to keep a lead. They lost a 10-0 lead to Tampa Bay, who scored 38 unanswered points to win 38-10. And they lost a 24-14 lead to the Colts. A 28-14 lead to the Colts. To lose, I think, 34-28 or 34-31. I mean, if you're going to win games, you can't give up 40 points in a row. Tennessee's on the reverse end. Tennessee loses all their points in the first half and catches up and loses by 1 score after catching up 30 points. But the Packers are up 30 and then they lose a bunch of points. So it'll be interesting to see how this game is going to go. I bet you the Packers get an early lead. They're probably up by 7 at halftime, and then the Titans have a major second half that brings them back to win. They also need to protect the ball. In their 3 losses, Rodgers has 3 picks. 3 of his 4 picks are in losses, and 1 of his 4 picks are in the other 11 games of the season. If the Titans can get a couple interceptions off of Aaron Rodgers, which I assume that they should, having 21 picks in 14 games, if they can get a pick off of Rodgers, or if they can get a couple fumble recoveries, if the Titans win the turnover game, which I expect that they should, then they should be able to do well here. But they need to get some of those big interceptions and big plays to win this game, because otherwise they're not going to. My score prediction for this game has changed. In my official score prediction video, I had the Packers winning, but and that will still be my official score prediction for this week. I'm officially predicting the Packers to win in my official predictions for my record of the season. But right now, I am changing my prediction to Titans 35, Packers 30. I think that Tennessee is going to be down 21-14 at the half. And then I think they're going to come back and win 35-30 in the second half. The Packers are going to be completely shut down on offense. Rodgers is going to throw a pick that's either going to be returned for a touchdown or going to be returned to the Tennessee side of the field. And there are going to be some major plays by the defense, some surprise plays by the Tennessee defense that the Packers did not see in the first half that's going to surprise them in the second half and get Tennessee the win. again, I will be live streaming this game at 8:20, so I'm very excited for this game. I think it's going to be one of the best, if not the best game of the season. There's also the Seahawks-Rams game, which is another major game. If Seattle wins that game, they win the division. If the Rams win that game, then they're right back in it with a very strong chance of winning the division. So these are two of the best games of the season after Chiefs Saints last week. So I'm really excited for tonight. I hope you guys are too. Make sure to check out the stream at least for a little bit. I'm gonna try to be as entertaining as I can. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you guys again for 700 subscribers. Let's get to 800 by New Year's. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys all for the support. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.